Sometimes you don't want to wait until the telescope is able to take your observations for you. Maybe there's been some bad weather, or maybe you're just looking for some ideas. And so to help with that, as well as having the Go Observing system itself, we've also got a way where you can search through the archive of all the observations that have ever been taken by the National Schools Observatory. So if you go to the Go Observing menu on the website, you'll see there's an option to go to Archive of Observations. And that brings up a simple search form which allows you to narrow down from the many thousands of observations to ones that are of particular interest to you. You may know the name of the object you want to search for already, but more likely you'll just want to narrow down on particular kinds of objects. And to help with that, we have a set of observing programs, which are groups of observations that are similar. And that's in this drop-down list here. Now there's only 3 options here because this is a very simple set. You will probably find that you have more choices here. But I'm going to start with a very simple choice of deep sky objects, which are objects that are too faint to be seen without a telescope. And I'm just going to search the archive by clicking on the Search the Archive button. And this will go through and it will find all the most recent observations of deep sky objects. And you can see that there are actually quite a lot, and there's many different objects in here. And you probably don't know what most of these objects are. So if you want to know a little bit more about any particular object, just click on the little I information button next to it. So to find out about Messier 97, I click on the little I button and it tells me that this is a planetary nebula. It's about 2,000 light years away from the Earth. And it gives me a simple picture of what the observation might look like. Now actually, I happen to know that there's a particularly nice object here that I'm a big fan of, which is the Rosette Nebula. And if we look at the Rosette Nebula, we can see it's a cloud of dust and gas where stars are forming. And I like the Rosette Nebula, so I'm going to try searching for the Rosette Nebula. So I'm going to go back to the archive, and I'm going to tell it I want to search for objects that contain the word Rosette, so I can search for the Rosette Nebula. And again, I'm going to click on the Search the Archive button, and that will go away and find all the most recent observations of the Rosette Nebula. And here they are. There are many of them. Lots of different filters, lots of different exposure times, taken at lots of different times, but all of the same object. And if you want to know about a particular observation, you just click on its ID code, which is in the first column. And that will show you a quick thumbnail of what the observation will look like and allow you to download it. And if you're interested in that particular observation, then you'll want to download the image data file. So you click on the download image data file and take it from there. At this point, you'll need to use our special software to examine the data, and you can find out more about that in the Help menu under LT Image software. However, this is quite a long list of observations here, and they're not all necessarily particularly good. So we want to narrow down a little bit more on what we think are likely to be the best observations. To do that, we're going to go back to the archive search form. But if you scroll down, you'll see there's an option to use an advanced search form, which is what we're going to do next. And if we look at the advanced search form, we'll see we've got the same options that we had before at the top, but now we've got some more options to choose from. And these let us narrow down on particular sets of observations. Now I still want to go for the Rosette Nebula, so I'm going to put Rosette in the top here. But now I want to select within those list of observations for some of the better ones. In particular, I want to have quite a long exposure time, an exposure time of at least 90 seconds. Anything less than that, we're not going to get the best quality data for this particular object. I also want to only observe when the moon is down, so I'll click on the box next to that. That means that the sky will always be really dark, which for faint, fuzzy objects like this usually makes the observations better. And finally, I've decided I don't want to include the U filter. The U filter is into the ultraviolet, and the camera is not designed to really take very good observations there. So I'm not going to bother looking for the U filter, although all the other filters should be pretty good. So I've now selected something where I'm looking for the Rosette Nebula, all of the filters except U, an exposure time of at least 90 seconds, and only when the moon was down, so it was nice and dark. And I will search the archive again. And here we have those observations, and you can see now we've only got ones which were at least 90 seconds, and we don't have any U-band observations in this list at all, so it's done the right thing. So you can now take any of these, and there's a good chance it will be a decent observation. But you might also notice something quite special. The first 3 observations in the list were taken at the same time, and they're in 3 different filters, R, V, and B, which you can see in the filter column. And if they're taken at the same time and they're in 3 different filters, then they're designed for taking a 3-colour observation. So the R filter for red, the V filter for green, and the B filter for blue. So if you download all 3 of these observations, I could start with the first one here, the R-band observation, you can take them all and you can put them together in our software to make a 3-colour image. And again, there's help for that in the LT image software section in the help files. And so that is how you use the archive to find observations of particular objects and to search around for the kind of things that might be available. The best way to do this is to explore, experiment, and see what you find. Happy observing!